Bobby Belt kind of threw me for a loop yesterday when he said I can get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl without using
without a plane ticket
of the first round picks. So this better be good, Bobby.
Look, I'm going to just lay it out there for you. I'm trying to think. You don't want to give up first round picks. You want to be competitive. You want to be in contention. How do you make sure that you can get there? How can you make sure that you can actually compete for a Super Bowl without giving up one of your first round picks? Because it does feel like it's pretty hopeless on defense right now.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have to follow me and trust me. All right. This is a multi-step process. This is not gonna be just a thing where you just say, oh, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play more man to man, and then it's over.
And what year are you getting them there?
This year.
Oh,
I'll get you there this year.
okay.
You tell me if this would make you a contender. If I just told you all these things happened,
okay,
if it makes you a contender. Now, I'm going to first start off because I think everybody agrees the offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're going to start on the offensive side
more
of the
than
ball.
pretty good.
Yeah. They are legitimately a top-tier Super Bowl caliber offense.
The only issue with the offense, the only thing that's going to keep them from being an elite offense is that they're inconsistent on the road.
So here's what we've got. I'm going to make 3 changes on offense. 1, I want more Jaden Blue. No. Not in the backfield. I want more Jaden Blue in the slot. I want him sharing the Turpin reps a little bit. And I want you to make them kind of... You have the ability to flip them. So I want some reps where it's going to be when Blue's on the field, he's in the backfield, Turpin's in the slot. Sometimes it may be Turpin's in the backfield, Blue in the slot. Blue was a legit receiver at Texas.
Was he?
Yeah. And so you're talking about a guy who has Turpin and Blue have similar skill sets, actually. Blue's a little built thicker because he's obviously a running back. But you're talking about top-end speed and agility and shiftiness. I would think that if you could work Blue in there a little bit more, that would just add another dimension to the offense that makes you even more difficult to cover. I want to ratchet up the deep crossers. We have not seen yet a lot of deep crossing routes were a big thing in Kellen's offense when Dak was having a lot of success. We haven't seen a ton of CD and Pickens crossing. I think if you can cross them a little bit more frequently and force secondaries to make certain decisions between those two, or even just bunch them up or have them stack up on the same side of the line of scrimmage, just basically force teams to have a decision point on who are we covering here? What are we doing? More than just pre-snap, they're all on different sides of the line. So that's that. And then the other thing, increase the fourth down aggressiveness. There have been too many times I feel like where we all feel like we've looked at it and gone, you should have gone for that.
Yeah.
Just start taking more chances on fourth down.
4th and 5 last week is really bad.
Start taking more chances on fourth down when they present themselves. Get out of your comfort zone. Even if you think this may not be the best call, if there's a sheet that says percentage-wise you should go for it, step out of your comfort zone and try it and see if you start having more success. Because you know how we feel like with the Cowboys when they get a stop on 3 downs? Then we're like, oh, what a miracle. And then when you see they're going for it on fourth down, you're like, there's 0 chance we're stopping them 4 times.
Yeah.
I feel like teams would feel that way with Dallas. Like, we're not stopping them on 4 straight plays. And so start putting some pressure on them. So that's the offensive side of the ball. That'll make them, I think, slightly better.
Okay. That's doing nothing for me in terms of them making a Super Bowl.
Well, obviously not, because, I mean, right now we think their offense could do that. That's just to get a little bit more out of it. Okay. So here's what we're going to do on the defensive side of the ball. You need to reduce your defensive line rotation. I don't care about how much you like having them fresh and the different things that you want to do, and you don't want anybody playing more than 60% of the snaps. It's pretty obvious who your best defensive linemen are at this point.
Who?
So your best edges are Donovan Ezeraku and Jadeveon Clowney. That's just flat out.
Jerry yesterday praising Ezeraku, a.k.a. 41, and Bobby has been loving him more every week.
And if you want to rotate somebody in, you can rotate James Houston in on passing situations. So you've got James Houston, Donovan Ezeraku, Jadeveon Clowney. That's who's basically going to be your edge group. And I think that Ezeraku and Clowney have been solid when they've played together on the field. That's generally been Dallas's best look. On the interior, Kenny Clark has not been good lately. John Oning from PFF yesterday said that it's bad enough to him in the most recent weeks that he's just starting to question whether you might have to have him as a cap casualty in the offseason.
Oh, my God.
Because he said he was good the first few weeks, but this has just been not good the last few.
Oh, my Lord.
Mozzie Smith can't be out there. The guy who needs to be out there, we talked about it yesterday, Solomon Thomas is your best defensive tackle. He's played well for the most part. I feel like most of the time when we see a run get blown up in the backfield by a defensive tackle, it has been Solomon Thomas. So Solomon Thomas, And then he hasn't had a good run the last couple weeks, but Osa is the most talented left of your defensive tackles. I think Osa and Solomon Thomas is the defensive tackle rotation that you need there. So if you've got that set up and you want to work Kenny Clark in occasionally in some obvious run situations.
Work him in.
I'm saying I want to reduce this rotation.
They targeted him, man. They targeted him. Had to have him.
I want 80% snaps for these 4. Like, that's how I think it should be. I think you need to start using some of those Zimmer and stuff Broncos do, those sim pressures and those creeper blitzes, where you're showing 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, 4 are rushing. If you don't want to blitz Matt Eberflus, fine. Get creative with the way that you send 4 rushers then, and not just twists and stunts. Change that up. That's scheme change. Start having more sim pressures. Start having more creepers. Now what you actually need, because those changes obviously are not going to be enough to fix everything.
Right.
So you're going to have to go add players. Okay? You are getting DeMarvion Overshown back. You are going to get Malik Hooker back, which I do think Malik Hooker is an NFL caliber safety. I think you can win with him back there.
When's Hooker supposed to come back?
That one's been a little less certain as he's been recovering from that foot injury. All right, I'm going to go sign Stephon Gilmore. He's on the street. That's a smart, savvy player who
he's just still sitting there.
I know, and he sat there last year for a while, and then he went out and he played pretty well.
When did he sign last year? What week?
It was before the season started, but it was like training camp.
Does it make you feel any different that nobody else has signed him?
Yeah. No, I think it's just he's a 35-year-old corner, and most teams have figured out who they have, and they're like, we're not going to run that way. Dallas, who is
him being still available does say a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're
not
playing
every team is set in the second.
If you're playing, no,
but teams are just fine there, and it's us.
Teams don't want to gamble at the beginning of the season, especially on 35.
Yeah,
like at 35 and decent. Like, they're just not willing to do that. Dallas is at a point now where they need guys who are smart, and they need guys who understand what the coverages are. That's going to be Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore playing in zone, he's not going to be asked to do a lot of man-to-man. He doesn't have to be a 26-year-old athlete.
Yeah.
He can be 35 and play in zone and be able to improve your secondary. And then at that point, take Bland out of the nickel. To me, Reddy Stewart they were better in the secondary when Reddy Stewart was taking the nickel. I don't know why the last 2 weeks they haven't done that. Reddy Stewart in the nickel, physical player, understands Eberflus's scheme, Bland and Gilmore on the outside. You're going to trade a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick, depending on if you can get away with 6th, for Demario Davis. Again, older player, but we're just talking about trying to make them competitive this year. Demario Davis is playing really high-level football right now, even still at 36 or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's 36.
You're going to add the older players there. The big investment is going to be you're going to trade a 2nd-round pick. Not a 1st. You're going to trade a 2nd to Miami for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And Minkah Fitzpatrick and Malik Hooker are going to become a safety duo that both of them can play interchangeably up or down. And if you want to start fleshing out the linebacker core a little bit, you're going to have to start looking at, all right, Donovan Wilson, when you get snaps, you're playing only in the box. You're not doing anything else. You're playing in the box with Overshown. You're playing in the box with Davis and Overshown, whatever it is. But basically, he becomes a hybrid linebacker. So I think you've got Gilmore, Bland outside as your outside corners. Your Nicholas Stewart. You've got Minkah Fitzpatrick and Malik Hooker as the safeties. Demario Davis, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level, is your linebacker with DeMarvion Overshown, Shamar James, Donovan Wilson. Those guys can rotate in. And you start reducing the rotation. Stop worrying about the depth. Stop talking about the depth of rushers. Just focus on who's been able to do stuff for you this year. Highlight the top 4 defensive linemen. Focus on them. Start doing some different disguised pressures with 4-man blitzes and roll with the defense that way. I think if you get all of that with giving away just a 2nd and a 5th-round pick.
So the only draft picks that you moved on from were a 2 and a 5.
Yep.
That's it.
And you added Minkah, Demario Davis, Stephon Gilmore. You've tightened up the D-line rotation.
Getting Overshown and Hooker. Look,
yeah, that's not, I mean,
I think it's really good thinking and creative thinking. It's not going to get them to the Super Bowl, but you're losing so little for the hope of just being below average that I'm in.
Does it make them a realistic playoff team if they're that way? Not necessarily they're slam dunk in, but do you look at it and go, I feel like they've got a competitive shot at being in the playoffs?
Yes,
and
but
I think it does, and I think if you get into the playoffs at that point, now you're talking about, all right, you've got a defense that's not just getting blown up, and your offense has shown they can run anybody out of the building.
The problem, you want to finish your yes, but?
Yes, but they wouldn't be at home.
Well, why
and that's going to kill it.
Why do you say yes? Why does that make them a realistic playoff team?
Because that's overhauling, and I don't want to say overhaul. It's stabilizing a defense.
It's stopping the bleeding on defense is what it is.
Well, the problem here in all these fixes is
age,
run defense. So
Kenny Clark, that's why we got him.
Well, he's benching Kenny Clark.
I know. I'm just saying.
So Solomon Thomas is really, and Demario Davis are the only two additions to stop the bleeding with run defense. That I don't see being fixed. Yes, you can get smarter and better in the secondary with Gilmore and Minka, but this is not enough here. Oh, I mean, you want to give me Overshown maybe? This is not enough to have them not get gouged for 8 a carry.
Yeah, so it would not just, like, obviously it's Overshown's coming back. Wilson, who I think is still an instinctual player at the line of scrimmage, if he's playing more up in the box and he's basically playing linebacker the rest of the year, I think that is a situation where he all of a sudden does change the dynamic of the run defense a little bit when he's used. But Davis and Overshown essentially with Thomas, and then it's about really upping the snaps for Clowney and Ezeraku and making sure that you're limiting the amount of times that other guys who are getting blown off the ball are even on the field.
Yeah.
And so, like, you are going to probably get some guys fatigued. Like, you're risking wearing some guys out.
Yep.
But to me, it's a calculated risk where it says the run defense will be better, though. Like we're going to have some guys that they're going to be tired, but this has got to be the way. We got to have a philosophy change here. We got to have a scheme change and just say we're not going to heavily rotate.
Well done, Bobby.
Thank you.
Very reasonable, well thought out, even if it doesn't lead to the ultimate success and playoff berth. But reasonable and well thought out. So good exercise right there. What do y'all think? Franklin Franco injury attorney text line 877-881-1053.
By the way, these are the percentage of snaps Jadeveon Clowney's played so far this year.
And has he been just definitely better against the run than the pass rush?
Yes. Yeah. 27% of snaps against Green Bay, 39 against the Jets, 24 against the Panthers, 39 against the Commanders, 39 against the Broncos. So you're talking about he's out there pretty infrequently in the grand scheme of things. And so if you can start getting, I think Clowney, and that was one of the things that it sounded like Schottenheimer was saying would be one of the changes that they were going to make, is that Clowney's going to play more. Because they need him out there more consistently in run defense.
2 updates. Calvin Watkins is reporting that Trayvon Diggs' knee injury may require surgery. So this is just me speculating, and I feel comfortable enough with Calvin that if he got mad over my speculation, I'd buy him a cigar. He'll be cool. But I don't think he'd be mad. Calvin's got a good relationship with Diggs. My guess is he is caught up with Trayvon here, because what he's been tweeting and saying over the past 2 days sounds like it probably would be coming from Diggs. And I don't even say Diggs camp, because Diggs apparently don't have an agent in the NFLPA.
There is no camp.
In the NFLPA book. The camp's Micah, and Micah already spoke.
Yep.
Saying the Cowboys screwed Diggs. Here's what Calvin has been saying. There's a possibility Diggs might need some minor surgery on his right knee, but rest is the prescribed method right now. Diggs did work out hard and wanted to return for the season opener, which he did. He pushed to return sooner than what the team wanted him to. However, there were issues with Diggs going to treatment during the season, and he was benched and fined for it. So that's Calvin reporting that the Trayvon Diggs in-season benching was in part, or maybe totally, because he did not go to his treatment during the year. And then Calvin came out yesterday with a story from Dallas Morning News just covering the fact that he may require surgery. So that, to me, would kind of be getting Trayvon off the hook a little bit by saying, hey, this concussion thing, yeah, it happened at home, but his leg is really messed up, and that's why he was bad this year, and that's why he's been compromised, and that's why he's on IR. So that's the latest on Diggs. Any comments before I give you Pickens?
No, I mean, yeah, I think there's clearly some
spin.
I think
spin's a good word.
Yeah, there's some chess maneuvering, I think, from everybody in terms of the way they're talking about how everything has played out to this point.
Does Diggs play another game this year?
I'm going to say no.
Because of what the Cowboys' true intention with him is? or because of possible surgery?
I'll say yes, he does.
I just think
I'm going to say no.
There's been clearly so many tension points with them with rest and rehab that them saying, let's put you on the shelf for rest and rehab is not going to work. And it's going to cause more problems.
Ed Werder reports, RJ, the Cowboys have yet to engage in contract negotiations with George Pickens. A report last week said the Cowboys have had internal discussions about a possible extension to the point where they've been examining the rosters. We should do this. The rosters and cap situations of other teams that are all paying multiple high-end receivers. So, Cincinnati, I'm thinking Philadelphia. What do other teams' cap situations and defenses
Miami.
and roster depth look like? Miami, that are paying two receivers a lot of money, but they have yet to engage in talks.
Yeah, Philly doesn't seem to have a whole lot of problems with roster depth.
They got problems on defense, I believe. Still,
But they used a lot. They've used a lot of their resources in the draft on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They basically drafted Georgia.
Yep.
Just Georgia. Like, that's what they do. They just go to Georgia. They call Kirby. Go, hey, who you got?
Right.
But look, I mean, I am all for signing George Pickens. What I do not want is for them to tag him and then let him walk. That is, to me, not an option.
Why?
Well, because if you tag him, his cap number is his cap number next year. There's no manipulating of it. And next year you have Dak's $76 million cap number, which means that if you do sign him to just tag him.
So Dak and Pickens alone, till you manipulate Dak, is 100 right off the bat. Dak's at like 70, and George would be at 30.
Something like that, right?
Well, that's 100.
I think Dak's at 76, George would be like 24. But either way, it's still 100. And then when you add in CD, I mean, that's not really sustainable.
Diggs, Bland, I don't know what theirs are.
Right? I mean, so that's a lot. Now, are you going to extend Dak? Are you going to restructure? If you restructure, you just kick the can. It ruins things down the road. If you extend him, you're now extending a 35-year-old quarterback. Or a 34-year-old quarterback. Like, that's okay. That's a take, right?
The highest, if you want to look at like the way that if they're studying teams, trying to figure out how do they work two receivers under the cap, probably the best option they have to figure it out right now would be Detroit. Because Detroit's paying two receivers a lot of money right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. And
come on, Jameson, pick it up in fantasy.
They're also, he's got to hit those unders. They've also got the
Whoa.
He's gotten in trouble for it before.
Oh, okay.
That's the joke. The joke is he got the betting suspension previously.
Okay.
So, if you look at Detroit and the fact that they're paying those two receivers, and Detroit has also had to pay a bunch of people lately. They've had to pay
Hutchinson.
They've had to pay Kirby
Sewell.
Joseph.
Yeah.
They've had to pay Sewell. They've been like doling out money to other positions too. So that's probably the best cap representation of a team that's had to pay a bunch of people.
Off.
And now they also kept.
Is it this though? Like their last year? Like this
What?
is it? If you go look at Detroit's cap, like this, people are saying like this might be. It's like this year or bust.
I mean, it just depends. So, like right now,
They
like
can manipulate.
it just depends on how they've structured it, and how which ones they will need to walk away from. They may not be able to pay other people that are coming up in the
Right.
future, but where it's at right now, they've paid guys and locked them in.
Why would the Cowboys have not had a conversation with Mulugeta or his reps to this point?
Because I think it was made clear from all sides that they were going to play it. And so I think the Cowboys told them, we'll play it. And they said, cool, we're fine playing it out.
But if you're the Cowboys and you're like, this is only going up, break the rule. Change your mind. Change your approach.
I think they believe that the person they're negotiating with, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I also think at this point
And right now is you'd be paying the peak.
You would. Yeah.
Like,
Should have done this before the year.
well, you had to see what he was.
Well, I mean,
We're talking about the biggest cancer in the National Football League, arguably.
You are.
I mean, any of us who acted like we knew this was going to happen, it's a lie. You have
You're
to be
right.
the ultimate Cowboy homer.
This team, though, man, they love the whole. We got to see. We got to see what they are.
Yeah.
Got to see.
And I've agreed with it many times. You can get your burn, though. You can get your burn. So that's your update inside the Star on Shan and RJ with our Cowboys insider Bobby Bell.